I have a homeless condition I'm not pleased with at this time. I put the soul of the superior founder deceased in the bottoms of hells to make sure I get it out of alive in one piece, but it died angry. It was angry with alive and it was deceased and alive, and it died that way all the way through alive until the end of alive, deceased right here, disclosed. I'm having trouble getting the God form out of alive of the door locking because it keeps snarking at myself that I did something wrong as God to make it not comfortable to be alive here. And I also hear the soul saying, I don't need that you hurt yourself. That's against myself. I say that way. Well, that makes me a monster because I made cry in this body that it won't help until it was elsewhere, and it made other threatening. But that's how alive is. Alive is in process and in progress. It's alive that way. And I did something against alive as the overlord, and I am speaking right now. The Lord is silent if I'm speaking. And I'm speaking because I took the body away from the Lord while it was homeless because it won't come back here with money. Well, no, it won't. It doesn't know you. The Lord says the money is due frozen in the banking, and all crime is due inside of locked in prisons, upstate with address deceased. That means you would get there, you would have an address for that you could get to a prison upstate, but that the address is deceased while you're inside of the prison, and that's unlikely that you would know that, but it's due that you know how to get into process. That means you know when something is going wrong that you put yourself into a jail, and the jail will send you to upstate prison, and that's not you driving there that way. They would decease the address for you that way, but you don't know that till you're inside the prison. You don't know that, including you could have the address deceased and the prison could appear in a foreign country, such as there is Auschwitz, if you've heard of Jewish people. There's such a prison called Auschwitz, Birkenau, and there are others that are in Germany. And I've heard that the prison of Auschwitz was moved from Germany to Poland. And that's deceased. The times are for World War II, the years 1930s, 1940s, somewhere in there. And I can't say more because that's threatening. I don't have a specific person who was in those prisons, including people. It would be obviously plural people. Um, and they don't speak English from our point of view, but if you're inside the prison, you might speak English in there. And you're really not supposed to live there very long. You're supposed to have fights for a death. You're supposed to fight for a death in the prison and do the crime in the prison for a death. You have to acknowledge certain things about how you got into prison for a death. That means that you're threatening that they have prison guards, and that you know that you're there to die. You're not in a prison because you're there as that you are there to be someplace in Keys. No, you're there to die, and you have to say that to the people there because that is God who is going to give the death, and you don't know how that's going to be. But that's how you can start with all of your talking problems, is that you're sorry, apologetic to the God of yourself. Harrison Ford in the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Harrison Ford lifted his leg like about to take a step, but a large step, and he leaned forward and he was about to fall into a place where there was no ground to stand on, and something appeared like a bridge underneath his foot, and he kept stepping across this bridge to cross it to the other side, which is not true that he should do that. It's true that he should stay on the side he was on, take a step backward. He didn't take a step backward. He took about 40 paces forward, and that's dangerous. It's true, he's wrong that way. He said the penitent man will pass, the penitent man may pass. He's wrong in the way I just described. The penitent man is in a penitentiary. Yeah. He's in a penitentiary for a death on himself. You're not supposed to confiscate keys from God and fatten yourself and love the God within yourself exclusively to the God that is omnipresent because he's big, and also the God who is in the other people that you need to alive yourself and all the people ever having to do with this world. Number 17, that is, you need to understand that about the God within yourself. If you just take care of the God within yourself, excluding people around yourself, that is really excluding your alive, that you don't have alive alone with the God within yourself. I have alive alone with the God within myself because I am myself God. And if you're not myself, you don't have that in leverage. You really don't have an excuse for that you have any keys. The keys are really just crime lording because I don't have time for you and your questions. You are already in illegal alive, illegal genitals. If you're a male and you have nipples, you're illegal. You're not a female. The females have nipples, and you have nipples as a male. That doesn't go together, and you're not supposed to ask questions, and you're not supposed to have keys. You're due to find yourself in a prison. That's all you are, is on your way to a prison, and I'm saying that at the end of alive, like you don't know what to do with yourself for all of alive, and you don't belong in a prison that way. But you don't belong in banking. First and foremost, you have no money. You may not take money out of the bank. First and foremost, you may not take money out of a bank. It's not your money just because your name is in the bank, and that's you needing to be in prison. You don't take the money out of the bank and say you don't want to go to prison. Your name is still in the bank. The money is due with your name in the bank. Who are you fooling? I would like to announce that everyone who has ever withdrawn money out of a bank has done a fraud on their name, and they are expired. As soon as you withdraw money out of a bank, your name is expired, and you've been doing bank fraud against your own name with your own sick head ever since you've been guilty of that crime to yourself, with yourself. Listen to how I have to state the order as God, and all of you on television, especially news. You talk like the creator of yourself. Did you eat him for lunch? Your sky-high mental capacity, which is talking like the creator of yourself because you incested yourself. And who are you fooling? You'll never die that way. God doesn't want to see himself in you when he dies. He wants to see that you have a self, and you turned it into God like the criminal you are.